Hi guys. Today I'll be rating the Dragon Ball series. If you want me to continue this series, please like and subscribe. Let's start with the video. The first category is art style. The series changed its art style throughout the series. In my opinion, every next saga comes out with better animation than the previous one except Dragon Ball Super, which I'm not entirely sure if it's an update or a downgrade. For me, the Broly movie, which comes after Dragon Ball Super, has the best art style out of all. Some people might find the 3D effects little annoying, but I think it can't get better. And about the worst one, I have to say it's the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie. I think the animators overdid it with the 3D animation and literally looks like a video game and not a movie, but it's all good because the movie doesn't follow the storyline and is not connected to the series. I'll rate the art style 8 out of 10. Even though it's incomparable to the art style of the manga. If Dragon Ball Super had the same art style as the manga, the rating would have been higher. The next category is originality. Dragon Ball was originally inspired by the classical 16th century Chinese novel Journey to the West, combined with elements of Hong Kong martial arts films. The series follows the adventures of protagonist Son Goku from his childhood through adulthood as he trains in martial arts. Originally, the author Akira Toriyama wanted Goku to look exactly like the Monkey King Sun Wukong, and honestly I'm glad he changed it. The names of the characters are really unique too. The Saiyans are named after vegetables, like Kakarot, which comes from the word carrot. Or like Vegeta, which comes from the word vegetables. The Namekians are named after musical instruments. Piccolo comes from the musical instruments piccolo. Basically every race is named after a group different things. I'll give Dragon Ball 9 out of 10 for originality. The next category is comedy. The anime initially had a comedy focus but later became an action-packed fighting series. Dragon Ball started with Kid Goku and his adventures of getting stronger and finding the Dragon Balls that grant widths. This is where the name Dragon Ball comes from. For me personally, the first series is one of the funniest series ever, and that's because as a kid Goku wasn't very smart and only knew how to fight. If you're thinking of watching the series, you shouldn't skip the first part of it. I'll give it 9 out of 10 for comedy. The next category is tragedy. The series has many sad moments. Some of the main characters have died but then brought back to life thanks to the Dragon Balls. For me personally, one of the saddest things was in Buu Saga. When they introduced Goten. I remember that I almost cried when the narrator said Goten is the son that Goku never got to meet. When they first meet, Goten was little scared from Goku until he realized that he was his father. This is both really happy and really sad moment. There are a lot more, but you have to watch the series to see them. I'll give Dragon Ball 9 out of 10 for tragedy. The next category is plot. Goku's main goal is to become stronger so he can protect his friends. Later on to protect his family, the Earth, and later on even the universe. The plot is kind of complicated to explain, so I'll leave it aside and talk about the plot holes of Dragon Ball. The plot holes aren't that big and not everyone could find, and the people who realized them decided to ignore them. One of the funniest plot holes is that in one of the episodes, Beerus, the god of destruction, stated that he killed all the dinosaurs on Earth before he went to sleep years ago, even though the dinosaurs were always part in the series, even in Dragon Ball Super. Another plot hole is that Gohan was the last Saiyan, even if hybrid with tail. Toriyama completely forgot to give Goten and Trunks tails. There are other plot holes, but I don't want to spoil you something important. So even if the series has some plot holes, they're nothing that big and the plot as a whole is pretty good. I'll give it 8.5 out of 10. The next category is fights. Now this is where the series is strong. There are many cool fights with both weak and strong opponents that never disappoint. There are 3 kinds of fights in the series. Against villains, sparrings, and tournaments. There were even tournament in the afterlife. If you enjoy watching martial arts, this series is for you. And just to say that some of the fights are really slow paced. Few minutes can turn into many episodes. But for me it doesn't matter, so I'll give it 10 out of 10. The next category is world building. For me the worst building is fairly good. They started from weak characters and introduced stronger characters later on. At first Master Roshi was the strongest. Then there was Karin who taught Roshi. Then from there we meet Kami, who is even higher than Karin and the god of the earth. Then after that we find out about King Kai. Then after that we find out he's only the North Kai, and there's 3 other Kais including a Grand Kai looking over each segment of the universe. Then we find out about Supreme Kaioshin and we think he's the head of the universe. Then they introduced Beerus, the god of destruction, and whisked that there are 11 more gods of destruction and 11 more angels with them. Then the Grand Priest, who is Whis and the other angels' father. And finally the Omni King, Grand Zeno. When you stop to think about it, it's actually pretty good world building. We're introduced to each one of these people in each arc, and they generally build up from the one before as a higher importance. And you get an understanding of how the whole Dragon Ball universe actually works. I also really like how each one is more important and stronger than the last. I'll give it 8 out of 10 for world building. The next and last category is openings. For me, all the openings are really catchy. They're all good, so I'll give them 8 out of 10 for openings. The average rating is 8.6 out of 10. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.